Good evening, Zambia. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are watching me this evening. Welcome to another special presentation of TV Bakwetu. It's Thursday. That only means Thursday night motivation with Frank Saliki. I hope you are all doing well. I hope you're having a wonderful week. I hope you're having a wonderful 2022 so far. I hope the plans that you set out at the beginning of the year, you're still working on those plans. The desire that you had that this was going to be the year that your life is going to be transformed for the better. I hope that desire is still burning in you. I always say every single week, wherever I speak, I always say this: we were designed for accomplishment, we were engineered for success, and we were endowed with a seed of greatness. And I hope we're really utilizing our skills, our talent to develop ourselves in everything that we do. And this week, have been thinking of something that is very, very important when it comes to a successful and truly happy life. I thought of when I began my journey of speaking. The desire to become a motivational speaker was born in 2014 after reading Les Brown's book. In 2015, I started this journey to become a motivational speaker. I did not do my first motivational speaking event until 2020. I spent that 5 years learning, studying, and a lot of failing, a lot of failing, a lot of getting it wrong to develop that skill to get me to where I needed to be. And there's so many people out there who think about certain dreams they want for themselves, certain things they want for their families, but they never get to realize those dreams. Why? Because they want things now. They want things done now. They want things to happen now. Things don't just happen now because you want them to happen. You have to go out there, you have to learn. When somebody decides they want to go and study medicine, they're not going to be a doctor tomorrow. They have to go and study for 7 years. This same principle applies in everything that we do in life. This same principle applies to everything that we do when it comes to working on our goals. We have to go on a journey, but so many people don't go on this journey. Why? They want things now. And this is what I want to address to you this evening. So tonight we're talking about instant gratification. Instant gratification. And I've titled this, instant gratification is a killer of dreams. Because the people who want things to happen now, the people who want everything now, don't follow through what they need to do because they want things to happen. Now, I want to give you an example. You can make, I just want you to imagine this. Think about the best piece of cake that you've ever had. Think about the best piece of cake that you've ever had. You can make that piece of cake exactly the way and taste exactly the way it is if you follow the ingredients, if you follow the recipe that the baker followed. You can make that piece of cake and make it taste exactly the way the best baker in the world can make it taste. However, so in the same vein, we can follow what other successful people have done and become successful. But as it comes to a piece of cake, you have to follow the recipe. So the thing that has to come first has to come first, and the thing that has to come last has to come last. And in life, that's exactly the same. You have to sow, then you will reap. But so many people in this world want to reap, then sow. So many people sit in front of the fire and say, they sit in front of a wooden stove, a stove you can use with firewood, and they say, well, if you give me some heat, then I will give you some firewood. It doesn't work like that. So we have to understand that in all that we do, we have to go out there and put the hours in and put the time in. I could have said, you know what, I want to be a speaker, but I'm going to do the learning later on. I'm going to do all the reading later on once I've become a motivational speaker. The chances are I don't become one because I have to do the studying. If you say I'm going to do all the studying because until I'm only going to do the studying when I become a medical doctor, chances are you're not going to become a medical doctor because you have to what? You have to study first before you can have the things that you want. But so many people are focusing on the last ingredient of the recipe, success. Now, success is a byproduct of the actions that you take. I'll say that again. Success is a byproduct of the action that you take. So the things you get as a result of undertaking a particular activity. However, so many people want success at the beginning of a journey, at the beginning of the process. What is success? Success is a progressive realization of the worthy ideal. So you have to then ask yourself, what do I really want to be successful in? And how do I get to where I want to be? Now, how is instant gratification killing your dream? Instant gratification is killing our dream, people's dreams in so many ways. First of all, we're living in a world that's so competitive. Everybody knows what everybody's doing, especially in this modern era of technology. Everybody knows what everyone is doing. So then everybody can portray a certain aspect of their lives. Essentially what we have is we can hide our not so good part of our lives and portray another. So I could be having a terrible time, but I could be posting pictures on social media to say, look what I have. Okay? I could I could borrow someone else's suit and come and sit on TV Bakwetu and say, I'm Frank Saliki, I'm successful. And I would finish here and I would take the suit back. And no one would be none of the wiser. So everybody, when it comes to instant gratification, people start to think about how can I have things very quickly? And because everybody wants to have things very quickly, they're not focusing on creating the life that they want. They're focused on having things now. So then our focus becomes on, our obsession becomes on how can I have things now? So then you're not focusing on your 7-year goal. You're not focusing on your 5-year goal because you want things now. You want to enjoy the finer things of life right now. So then what happens in that instance is you stop focusing on the goals, you stop focusing on the things that you want, you just start focusing on having. How can I have the latest mobile phone? How can I have a little bit more money right now? So instead of just working on your dream, you start borrowing more money and you end up in a lot of debt because you want things now. And that kills your dream, because that becomes a slippery slope. One moment you think, I'm just going to borrow a bit of money so that my friends can see that I've got money. And next time you're struggling to repay that. And before you know it, you're just stuck in this life away from this wonderful dream that you had. You're giving up that dream and you're going to get another job because you've got all these things that you've got to pay for, because you've been in this constant mood of competing with others. You've been in this constant desire to have things now. Until the desire to have things right now, to have this ability to say, I will wait for it later, your life will never transform. There was a study that was done at Harvard University. I think a lot of people might have seen it. It was a marshmallow test. It was a marshmallow test. So they got these young people, they're about 5 years old, they gave them marshmallows. So what they told them was, if the people who wait for 15 minutes longer without eating that marshmallow, will get an extra marshmallow. And what they found was about 5% of those young children who were put in that test, only 5% waited to have that second marshmallow. And the people who took part in this study were followed, and what they discovered was the people who waited that 15 minutes longer to have the second marshmallow were truly successful in life, because these people were not driven by instant gratification. They were willing to wait until the right amount and the right appointed time arrives that they can truly enjoy the things of success. So these are the things that you have to focus on. When we work on our dreams, that it doesn't happen very quickly. It does not happen very, very quickly. When we set a goal, your life doesn't change instantaneously. It's something that you have to willingly work at every single day. If you're not willing to put in the time, if you're not willing to put in the effort, if you're not willing to endure the longevity, you can never be successful. Success is not something that you simply just gain because you're excited about something. Success is something that comes by practicing. By the way, by practicing, I mean perfect practicing. People say practice makes perfect. I see a lot of people who just practice imperfection every day. No, perfect practice makes perfect. So it's about waking up every single day, willing to put the time in, willing to put the hours in. When I wake up every morning, I've got a book. I've got to read something. There's something that I read. It's called the Daily Stoic. Essentially what the Daily Stoic is, few lessons. It's a few lessons every day. That gets me started. That gets the fuel burning. I'm focusing on, what am I doing today? How do I get closer to the things that I want? I've got a 5-year plan, what I need to achieve in the next 5 years. So I understand that every day I wake up, I have to wake on that. That can only be achieved in 5 years. It can't be achieved tomorrow. It can only be achieved in 5 years by me being constant and taking the steps and the efforts that are required on a consistent basis. Because we don't get in life what we want, we get in life what we do on a consistent basis. Without doing that, my dream is nothing but a wish. My dream is nothing but a wish, or I can do what a lot of people do, pretend to be successful. You can lie to the world, but you can never lie to you can never lie to yourself. So this is another way that instant gratification kills your dream. Before I move on to the next point, I want to give you a great example that was given by my motivational speaking hero, Les Brown. And it gave an example of the Chinese bamboo tree. Now, a Chinese bamboo tree, when it's planted, it takes 5 years to grow. But the Chinese bamboo tree does not come out of the ground until the 5th year. And once it comes out of the ground in the 5th year, within 6 weeks, it grows 90 feet tall. And the question that Les Brown asked was, does it grow 90 feet tall in 5 years or in 6 weeks? And the answer is 5 years. Because that if at any point in the watering and fertilizing process in that 5 years was stopped, the Chinese bamboo tree will die in the ground. And so many people out there kill their own dreams because they want things done quickly. They want to chase all these quick rich schemes without having the skills, without having the knowledge, without having the ability to endure. These are the things that a lot of people miss out because of instant gratification. They miss out on this, the lessons they learn along the way, the people they become, the strength they build up along the way. These are important if we're ever going to be successful at anything that we do. This then brings me to the second point. Causes. What are the causes of instant gratification? I've alluded to it a few minutes earlier. We're living in a world where people just compete. And we think in order to prove what others people have, we're going to get those things now. So people will get a nice big television. How do they get that? They go and get a loan. You know, it always puzzles me when somebody goes, I got a loan and I got a television. Why? You got a loan. If I get a loan, I'm investing in my business to make it grow because it's an investment. I'm not going to get a loan to buy a television. But sometimes people will go and buy a television because it is what they want other people to see that they've got these things. It's even up to now, it puzzles me. So we got a television in our house, which is about 7 years old. And a few of my friends asked me, don't you want to buy something smart? Don't you want to buy something that you can watch YouTube on and everything else? And my question was, but I can watch YouTube on my phone. I can watch YouTube on my laptop. I can watch YouTube on my tablet. Why do I need to watch it on my television? But don't you want to buy a bit more don't you want your television to be a lot smart? Apparently, right? There's these televisions. You don't even have to press a remote. You can speak to it. You can tell it what to do. Okay. Now, my television works. It's 7 years old. It works fine. I watch my football there. I watch my documentaries on there. It works just fine, and I don't need to change anything. However, for some people, they feel there's a new trend. I want that. And here's the thing, I want it now. Do I have the money for it? I don't care. I want it now. So this competitiveness that we live in, this desire to create a persona that we're not, is one thing that drives people to instant gratification. It's one thing that drives people into this form of thinking, I want it now and I've got to have it now, no matter what it takes, I'm going to have it. What if we had the same ambition? What if we had the same thing about life and say, I'm going to endure in this dream, no matter how bad it's going to be, no matter how bad it is, no matter how bad it gets, I'm going to make it. If it takes me 10, 15 years, I'm going to make it. You're always going to enjoy true and blissful life. Now, so this desire to have everything other people have leads to instant gratification. The other thing about instant gratification is this is a new area. Not being able to deal with other underlying issues. How do you feel about yourself? Do you feel great? What's your self-worth? Do you value yourself? Most of the time when people don't value themselves, and I've been there. I've been there at the point where I never felt great about myself. I never felt great about my life. And I just never felt like I fit in. So I did a lot of things. Every single penny that I had, I went and bought something. I had to buy something because I thought that was what's going to give me value. But the next day I felt guilty for spending that thing. So for some people, that desire for instant gratification, for them, it's a quest to try and cure the feeling of inadequacy. So, my friends, what I would say to you, if you find yourself in that situation where you think, I need to get something because it makes me feel adequate, what I encourage you is to go on a self-discovery. Do you know, we know our celebrities so much. We know what they do. We know how many times they've been in rehab. We know all of these things about all these people we watch on television. But a lot of times we don't know who we are. In 2016, in one of the moments, I sat there and I was listening to his speech, and the speaker just asked a simple question. The speaker just said, forget about your work, forget about your house, forget about the fact you're married, forget about everything that is in your world. I want you to focus on you right now. Who are you? Who are you? It was a simple question. And my friends, being able to answer this question transformed the way I looked at myself, because I was able for the first time in this world to ask myself who I am. Who am I? That to take away what other people have said I am, but to truly look at myself, to really look deep inside me and say, who am I? And these are the things that we have to do to focus on and answer that question. Who am I? Who are you? What do you truly want in this world? What do you truly want to achieve? If we put you in a room just on your own, what would you really want to focus on? What would you really want to achieve? Not what everybody wants. Forget what everybody wants. Forget what everybody wants you to wear. Forget what other people want to wear. If you were going out, what would you be? What would you be comfortably dressed in? What would you be comfortably dressed in? I remember when I first started work, for me, it's always been a thing. I always have a suit. I will always have a tie. So there was a thing in what that's just been me for years. And I remember when I first started working, there were other young men who started work at the same time as me. So they thought, here's a man. Oh, here's a kid in a suit, which I wear a suit as well. And you could see they were spending out there very uncomfortable, because that was not what they were not that we're comfortable in. So what I'm saying is, another step to really overcome instant gratification is to be comfortable in your own skin, to know what you want, to know what you want to achieve, to have a goal in life of where you want to go. Understanding everything that you do is an investment in your future. The steps that you take today are an investment for your future. What steps have you taken today? What have you studied today? What have you read today? What have you listened to today? Have you set up a goal for what you want to achieve at the end of the week? Focusing on those things, my friends, are going to take you away from the things, wanting things right now. Why? Because your goals always become your road and stuff that comforts you in everything that you do. I look at the way I look at life, the way I look at finances, the way I spend money since my little boy was born. I look at life differently. Why? Because everything that I do, I think I have to do something right now. I have to do something that 29 years from now, if I'm not there, my son will be able to stand on his own and stand on his 2 feet because he's learned something. So everything that I'm doing is not about achieve, achieving something now or enjoying something right now. Or everything that I'm doing is all about the future. The result of what I'm doing, I might not even see it in 10 years' time. Here's even better, that the results of the actions that I'm taking, I might not even be there to enjoy them. I'm setting them out so that I can create something for my son. So for me, what I would say to you is a great way to really manage and really stop instant gratification is to set long-term goals. Make those goals, focus on those goals of what you want to achieve in that particular time. Do you know when you focus on, when you focus on your long-term goals, you don't do a lot of things that you probably used to do. You never go out a lot. You never spend money a lot. You only spend money on something that is very important. You learn those things. And what I've discovered with having long-term goals in everything that I do, for example, I've got a 5-year goal, not sharing that yet. You might find out in due course, but I've got a 5-year goal. But that 5-year goal requires for me to have a certain amount of money in order to fulfill that. So in the days where I would go to the office and I will go past, I'll go past a coffee shop and buy a coffee, I don't do that anymore. That the desire for that coffee was an instant gratification. But now that I'm focused on that goal, I understand that in order for me to have that goal, in order for me to have the resources that I need when that what on the period that I've set that period I've set out to achieve a particular target, I have to save this amount of money. So I can't spend that right now. So many people are spending so much because they want to prove it to themselves. Ask yourself, why do I do the things that I do? Why am I so impulsive? One of my coaching clients who's now my very, very good friend, and we've shared the stage together. So she always shares this story, and so I always share this story as well. So she was a big spender. She was a big spender. When she first came to me, she had maxed out 5 credit cards. She was £27,000 in debt. She was really struggling to pay. And we started really peeling the layers out. Why do you spend so much money? And then it all started coming out because I don't feel good about myself. So I do all of these things so that I can feel good about myself. I like to win friends because I never had friends when I was younger. So I like to spend all this money so that all these people like me. Really, so how to overcome instant gratification is finding out why you do the things that you do. Why do you always want things now? Is it because you want to prove something to somebody else? Is it because you want to show off what you've got? Is it because you want to keep up with the Joneses? You want everybody to see what you've got? Is it because is it because you just feel unworthy and you're doing it because it makes you feel good for a short period of time? But I want you to really ponder on this and say, what can I start doing? What can I start doing in order to get the things that I want? What can I start doing in order to get the life that I want? What do I need to stop doing? Why do I do the things that I do? Now, right for the first time, so the financial management life coaching session costs all the clients when they come to me for the financial coaching that costs £100. But for you out there, I'm going to give this one for free. For anyone out there who thinks they're really struggling and they really need some tips on how to transform their lives and how to really use the finances that they have to really build, because so many people have got in more than enough, but the way they spend it, they're in this world of constantly competing. So for anyone who's in Zambia, I'm willing to do this on a Zoom call. Anybody who's willing, leave me a message on my author page. So that's author Frank Saliki. Leave me a message and I'll be in touch with you so that we can create that and show you how you can create your life. Listen, I was a kid who never really realized I could have the things that I have today, until I realized that I actually did not need more money. I just needed to feel worthy. I needed to feel worthy within myself, and what I had was enough. And this is what you always have to remember. So the last element to overcoming instant gratification is you are enough. When you sit there and think, I need to buy some new clothes because I just don't feel enough, I want you to know you are enough. You don't have to go out there and compete with anyone. When you go on this journey, you have to understand, go set a goal and you have to be in it for a long haul. People who set goals just to be in for a short period of time are never successful. Don't be sidetracked by people who are flaunting their wealth. Don't be sidetracked by people who are flaunting their money. Don't be sidetracked by people who are driving fast cars. Don't be sidetracked. Success is not what you get. Success is who you become. The markets, the businesses out there, they want you to keep buying. So they tell you, if you buy this, you're going to feel great and your life is going to change. I'll give you an example how the whole world treats young people. Okay? The world tells young men, buy a fast car, you get girls. And the same message then goes to the girls and says, buy a bigger bra and you get some boys. So it's just a whole world there that teaches all of us to just go, let's go and have things now. If you have all of these things, then your life is going to be great. I can tell you there are people who have accumulated things and their lives have not been great because they've wanted everything now. They've wanted the result. They've wanted a piece of cake to make the best piece of cake in this world. However, what they have done is they've skipped the starting point and they've gone to the end point and expected that life is going to be fantastic. You cannot skip the steps of life. You have to take all the stairs. There's no lift to the top. There's no lift to the top. And I think that's why Zig Ziglar used to say there's no traffic jams at the top because it's a bottom that is overcrowded. Far too many people wanting things now, far too many people not willing to do what it takes to become successful, far too many people not spending the time to develop that skill. Can I tell you this? If you spend the next 5 years every day studying your area of expertise, within 5 years, you'll be among the top 5% experts in that field. If you spend the next 5 years consistently studying the area that you want to go, you'll be an expert and nobody will ever going to stop you. But you have to be willing to put in the time and the effort and going the distance. So in all that we do, go out there and do the things that you want to do. And this is my friend. If you want a thing bad enough to go out and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time, your peace, and your sleep for it, and if all that you dream and scheme is about it, And life seems useless and worthless without it. If you gladly fret for it and plan for it and lose all your terror of your opposition for it, and if you simply go after that thing that you want with all your capacity, strength and sagacity, faith, hope and confidence, and stern pertinacity, if neither cold, poverty, sickness of body and brain can keep you away from the things that you want, if dogged and grim you besiege and beset it, with the help of God, you will get it. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. God bless our country. God bless your dream. I'll see you soon.